Man City will take a brief break from the Premier League and will shift their attention to the EFL Cup on Wednesday night when they travel to the John Smith Stadium to face League One outfit Huddersfield Town in the third round. Pep Guardiola's side head into this one, of course, after conceding a stoppage time goal to draw 1-1 with Arsenal in the Premier League. As for Huddersfield, they've made a decent start to their season in League One, but they have recently had a bit of a wobble. They've won only one of their last four league games and were most recently held to a goalless draw at home to Burton Albion last weekend. They do come into this game, though, having already beaten Premier League opposition in the EFL Cup. They won in a penalty shootout away against Sunderland in the second round at the end of August. Now, of course, Man City will be regarded as favourites for this third round tie. I'm sure, Stephen, you'll have confidence in City to get the job done on Wednesday. From a City perspective, what do you think we can expect from this tie, and how important is it for City to sort of bounce back from the result against Arsenal?
Um, yeah, I mean, bounce back is like implies a negative. I know what you're getting at, but I
Yeah.
think City they'll go into this quite relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to this. It feels like a bit of a necessary break after a really grueling bunch of fixtures, and I did not expect. I mean, that's the first time Guardiola's named an unchanged side 3 games in a row for I think years. I think it's
Mm.
genuinely years. So like, there's going to be changes here. There has to be changes, and I'm looking forward to seeing whatever those changes are because there's a lot of players who want some minutes right now, and we go into the game after that at home against Burnley in Premier League, which is you'd think, given where City are, is a chance to get a convincing 3 points with multiple players rested. So I'm very excited to see how this team looks on Wednesday. Look, I don't know a lot about Huddersfield. I know they're one of the better sides in League One, but ultimately it's a League One side against one of the best sides in England still. City are. I know we're only around mid-table, but we're still one of the best sides in England. So I expect points to prove from a lot of players, and I expect a really fun lineup as well. A whole bunch of changes, necessary changes. Though some limitations because the squad just isn't that deep and there's too many injuries. There's gonna have to be some players that played during the week as well, during last week and the last few fixtures. Um, but yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah, I think as you mentioned there about the lineups, three consecutive lineups unchanged. It's very unusual for that for a Guardiola team, but you do expect changes against Huddersfield. I think one of those could well be Erling Haaland up front, and if he is to be rested for this one, who do you think's likely to sort of lead the line for City, bearing in mind that Omar Mamouche is still injured at the moment?
Oscar Bob or Mukasa. I reckon that's
Yeah.
that'd be my guess. Divine Mikasa and Oscar Bob sort of played as like quasi false nine strikers, the pair of them. I think at one point together actually. So I can imagine seeing that. Yeah, I think Mikasa is one that City really rate from the academy. He's more of like an eight, but he will get the McAtee sort of role where McAtee played as a false nine a couple of times last year. Mikasa will probably get a very similar role. No Divin Mabama, which he was off the bench an awful lot, but now he's at Stoke. We haven't just got the options, to be honest. I mean, Reagan Heskey's been training with the first team an awful lot. He's Emil Heskey's son, not quite a striker, but a left winger, a very powerful one. So don't be surprised if he's sort of involved on the bench or something like that. But I reckon Oscar Bob might get the job as a false nine. He's done it before for City. We saw Doku play there for a few minutes the other day. Savinho could get a chance there as well. I think Haaland will start anyway. I just wouldn't be surprised. I think Haaland might just start. He's Haaland and he'll play 45 minutes and then come off or something like that. Or it might be the other way around where he comes in at half time. But Haaland right now he's a like when you look at people like the best in the game, like Messi or Ronaldo, they were never rested, man. They just kept playing and playing and playing and playing and playing because they like to score goals. And Haaland seems to be cut from a very similar cloth. And the touch one right now, like largely at City, he's been pretty good of injuries. He's had a couple of spells, but his injury records have been pretty decent, and he looks focused. And I would not be surprised at all if he started. Having said that, I also wouldn't be surprised if he's on the bench. So yeah, I think the best bet probably Oscar Bob, and maybe Phil Foden gets another game towards fitness, and if so, he's a perfect fit for the false nine. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a hodgepodge of players because it's a necessary evil. I have no idea what the defense will be. I think who's going to get left back slot. It won't be Nico Riley because he'll rest Eight Nori. Maybe Rico Lewis or Nunes will get a left
Yeah.
back role. Probably Rico Lewis actually he's played there before. And midfield, Nico Gonzalez is going to start obviously. Um, we could see Mafuni play as well, the young lad. He's a really highly rated centre back, which would let John Stones play midfield if he wanted some minutes, which would then let I don't know. We haven't got a lot of players. That's the thing that's really striking me right now. Unless you go to the academy, Yes, Savino's nailed on to start. Obviously, Nunes will start. Trafford will start. Rico Lewis will start. Probably Ake and Stones, I reckon, will start as well. I think Macasse's going to get a start, and Nico Gonzalez, Reinders could. I just don't really know if we've got the numbers. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Um, some people, yeah. Some people have to play again. It's just a shame Kovacic isn't ready because he would have been perfect for this one, And obviously, it would have been great to see. This would have been where Shirky gets another start, and he would have got another start before that, but it would have been a great way to settle these guys in. But it is what it is.
Yeah, whatever happens, I'm pretty sure there will be changes in this one. I can't see them starting the same lineup 4 games in a row.
No, imagine. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And in terms of, the EFL Cup, this is a competition that City have had a lot of success in during the Guardiola era. They've won it 4 times under Pep. They're all in a row between 2018 and 2021. Since that triumph in 2021, City have been knocked out early in the competition, though. They've had two fourth round eliminations, including one last season. They've been knocked out in the third round once and in the quarterfinals as well.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is for City to win a domestic cup this year, whether it is the EFL Cup or the FA Cup or even both, after failing to win a trophy at all last season? Of course, the Premier League and the Champions League will be considered priorities for Guardiola, especially the Premier League. But, what about the other cup competitions? How seriously do you think City should take the EFL Cup this season?
Um, well, Guardiola said they take every competition seriously. And I think that's true. Obviously, it'd be silly to start the strongest lineup. You just can't, and I don't think that's even necessary anyway. You have to give players who aren't playing minutes because they need it. It's a squad game. I have always been a firm advocate of the League Cup. I really like it in all its names in the past. I think it's a fantastic competition. I love going to Wembley in February March time. I think winning a trophy around that time is such a boost to your chances for the end of the season because I'm a firm believer that winning breeds winning. Like there's nothing like winning a trophy and lifting it in front of your fans, and once you get a taste of it, like it's so addictive. I also don't think it's a coincidence where City were at the very best. They win the Carabao Cup, every season, and then going on to win the bigger trophies after that. Like it really is a motivator. So I want to see it take it seriously. I like the fact that young players get involved. I like the fact that squad players, fringe players get some minutes. I don't really see the downside of the Carabao Cup personally. I'm sure managers would like the rest, but I think the players playing midweek that don't usually play is just as good for the team as it is for the rest personally. I think it's better. So I know Guardiola probably would prefer a week on the training pitch, but I don't know where we are right now. Like you look at 2 wins and a draw. Say we beat Huddersfield and Burnley, you're looking at 4 wins out of five, and unbeaten in 5 games, and all of a sudden there's an easy, I say easier game in the Huddersfield, but it's another way to get the squad rolling and get some minutes and some form into players. So you got to look at every game as an opportunity to learn something about the team. And right now there are a lot of questions about this side and where they're going. So we need to know where Savino's head's at. We need to know if Oscar Bob can find a little bit of confidence still and build on a decent start to the season. But now he's out the side. We need to see if Nico Gonzalez can enjoy 90 minutes. So we need to see how Trafford can deal stepping back into the team after Donnarumma's taken away some of the limelight off him. There's so many things that we need answering. And we need to see how the young lads like Mafuni and Mikasa, potentially Reagan Heskey, how they can get on as well. So a game like this, it might not be the optimal timing for some people, but for City, I think there's a lot of questions there that they could have decent answers with this opportunity. And I think if any game right now that can take the squad into a better position than it was before it, I think it's a good thing. And I do think we can learn a lot from this. Yeah, some players shouldn't be playing that are going to play, but that's the nature of the game, nature of the beast, and that's how it is. So I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. I just want to see some good performances from those who've got something to prove.